in favour of Maguire or Evans. Playing players like Amari Forson ahead of Ahmad at one stage. You
So
know,
would you say that?
I think these kind of things won't happen under this new regime and under Van Nistelrooy and possibly this Rene Hake guy. Because
So what
I
you
reckon
think?
they'll be saying certain things to Ten Hag to let
Yeah.
him know, look, start playing this guy, don't play this guy. I think these conversations will be had as well as Jason
If
Wilcox as well, who's the technical director, will be having
yeah,
his.
all I can say is this: if
Mm,
that's the situation he signed on to,
yeah,
I have no respect for Ten Hag as a manager, and I do not expect anything good from him. If
yeah,
that's the situation, if that's the circumstance, even as a head coach, like Arnie Stot's the head coach at Liverpool.
yeah,
He has a specific role in terms of coaching a team and being responsible for what happens on the pitch.
mm,
He's the one that carries that responsibility. He's the one that's picking the team sheet. I don't think anybody else, apart from the head coach slash manager, should have any vetoing powers or
mm.
powers to control who starts, who's being played. I don't think Van Nistelrooy should have a say. I think it's good for him to give like counsel,
Yeah.
yeah, to give advice, push back in some way, shape, or form. But the way you kind of made it out was almost like it was no, look, Iniesta saying you're going to play this player because all that's going to foster is the whole player power issue that you had beforehand, and it's not going to look good because it won't be a good look.
The thing is though, Lenz, yeah, you have to look at it like this. Yeah. The fact that he signed an extension to the contract that he already technically had, that will
Yeah,
tell you all you need to know because somewhere negotiations have not gone smoothly because they would
yeah.
they would have given him a new deal.
But
The fact
remember,
that
I
they've
gave you the
extended his
example of
contract
Slot.
by a year, that means he's more or less on trial to see what he can do.
Yeah,
And the
okay,
fact that they sacked Mitchell Van der Gag, who was his number two, to
yeah.
bring in Van Nistelrooy, bringing him in better coaches, there's no excuses now. So he has to play entertaining football,
Yeah.
and he has to show that first and foremost that he's got some humility about him in terms
All
of
right.
how he
But
deals with players.
look at this now. So let's say Van Nistelrooy and the other guy you mentioned come in, and they're like, "Nah, you have to play Sancho," and it don't work out. And go, "Oh no, you have to play this guy," and it don't work out. Who's the one who has to take responsibilities for those for
But
those types of decisions?
of course, the manager. But what
The
I'm trying to say
manager.
to you, yeah, the
Yeah,
whole
but
the whole the whole setup of the club, yeah,
yeah,
is not necessarily for the manager to. It's going to be a new setup because a lot of clubs are doing this now. Yeah,
I
is that
know
the
we've done
director
it.
that give them players and the head coach. That's why they call head
Yeah,
coaches.
I know we've done it. That's what this is what I'm saying.
Mm,
We've done it, and I'm only going by what I know of our model, which is similar to the Dutch model. So basically, you have your director of football and other people, and
yeah,
different people in the background that um alongside the manager, they pick players to bring in.
yeah,
Yeah. So to form the squad. And the one who's responsible for managing the training sessions and the coaching of the club, of the players, and what happens on the pitch, match day, is the head coach. Is the head coach. That's the job title. So Slat is the head coach of Liverpool. We
yeah.
don't have a manager anymore, as per se.
Head coach
So
to get the better out of the players.
yeah,
Yeah,
the one who decides the 11, the one who says that okay, this guy, I want to rush him back from injury. Whatever it is, the one who comes up and has the final say when it comes to the pitch is the head coach. It's not anybody else because that doesn't fall under their purview. So
mm,
everyone has a different role in the back in behind, and it kind of like spreads out the manager roles more. For instance, Klopp, for example, was way more involved in aspects off the pitch than our former managers, yeah, because of the power he built up in rightly so in the club. But now with Slat, that's all being tailed off now. You have different people who are responsible for the bringing in of players and signing players and whatnot, even though they have like a transfer council.
mm.
And then when it comes to training, you'll have your assistant manager often in charge of training sessions, or you'll have like a defensive coach or whatever it is. You'll have those people who will do that. and they'll all give you reports on how players are doing and performing, and you're watching what's happening as well. And then so the head coach now decides who goes to kickball on match day. So I basically would say you couldn't, if it was as you said it is, you couldn't judge Ten Hag for anything next season. Not a thing. And the
Yeah.
only person to blame for any kind of mishap next season would be Ineos.
Well, yeah, kind of. But
Because
this is my
go
thing
on.
again. Yeah, I don't particularly think Ineos don't really have faith in Ten Hag in my opinion anyway.
So
Because
Ten Hag, so it's
if they did, they wouldn't
yeah.
have just given him a year extension. The year extension they've given him is a let's see what you can do kind of thing. That's what I believe. If they really had faith in him, then they would have said, "Look, we're going to give you a new 3-4 year contract. We believe in you, um, but it's a year extension, and they've got rid of his coaches as well. So it's a whole new setup there.
So
And he's on borrowed time, in my opinion.
I assumed that they did it when I first heard about the extension that it was done because you had your eye on another target for next summer. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I first
Yeah,
assumed.
yeah, yeah.
Now, after you've brought in Van Nistelrooy and whatnot, I'm more unsure about that because it's
I'm not. I think
common practice.
Van Nistelrooy will
It,
take over if Ten
but
Hag
it's
doesn't pull up any trees.
yeah, but like as an interim manager, but
Mm.
I remember I'm going off the premise that I thought you guys had someone else in mind for next summer. Yeah.
Mm.
So I thought it would have been a case of um season ends, go and bring in your next person. You've already worked out what they wanted. And the only reason why I can, the reason for Van Nistelrooy being there is because this person who you had your eye set on was like, yeah, I'm cool with that person being part of the backroom staff, so forth and so forth. Because what normally happens is when you bring in a manager, they bring their backroom staff members with them. So it could be an assistant coach, it could be a physio, whatever it is. They bring people with them that's part of their team that they want. You don't always get all of them, but it's commonplace to bring some of them. So the fact that you're building this whole backroom staff already, yeah, I don't know what the end goal of that game is. So it's if you've got Ten Hag on a 1 year contract and you don't trust him, but you've packed out the backroom staff,
Mm.
and then you're gonna look for a new manager, that new manager would have to be kind of like comfortable with taking on the current backroom staff
Yeah.
versus bringing in people who know his way of working, his systems, his way of training, the things he wants. So it would be like it'd be like a half kind of like rebuild in terms of the manager because the manager would be the main one responsible for communicating what he wants to the club and to
Mm.
the backroom staff members. Whereas if you take Slat as an example, we haven't taken his complete backroom staff, but we took some of them and hired some others. Now, the ones he brought with him, they're able to communicate his ideas far more easier than someone who's just joined us, for example. Yeah, like a Heitinga. Now, Heitinga will be doing what the club wants in terms of, okay, we've identified someone who can train a certain defensive style very well, whatever it is. Yeah. So we want him to fulfill and do that role. But in terms of like the concepts that a manager has,
I think Heitinger's doing a sabotage job there, man. You can't be crossing from Everton to come to Liverpool.
but it happens,
Come on,
Carragher,
man.
man.
He's doing a sabotage.
Carragher. But remember, he's not local either,
He's
So
Dutch, man. He's Dutch, yeah. He
yeah,
played for Everton.
yeah. So
He's at
it's
Everton and now he's come across the board. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Rafa Benitez.
Yeah.
It happens, but like it could happen with Gordon. You never know. I don't think it will, Um, but yeah, the idea that like you've already got a settled backroom staff now will be
Mm.
settled after a year, but then at the same time, and iron around Ten Hag.
Yeah.
If I'll give you an example. If I was playing football now and I had the option to move, I'm like in my young 20s, whatever, option to move to a Man United, an Arsenal or someone else, a German club, whatever it is. One of the reasons I wouldn't go to Man United is what I just said. When it comes to the manager and the background stuff, it doesn't make sense. There's some this I A lot of the things that Ineos has done, I think has been good, but the part that doesn't make sense is giving Ten Hag the extension under those circumstances while bringing in these other backroom stuff. And I know that people needed to be replaced,
But
but Are they going to bet the club for 1 year?
No, but the thing is, they had to give him a new contract because of the veto that was in there previously. Yeah. So, but I mean, the fact of the matter is, there's something in there was something in his contract which needed to be rectified,
Be amended.
amended. But the
So
problem
then
is now
why only extend it for a year?
that's what I'm saying, because there's for me there might be an issue with money, or there could just be because my point is, if they had faith in him, they would have given him a new contract for sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
The extension means that it's a trial period, basically. But the whole veto of what they wanted to kind of take out of his contract,
yeah.
if they've extended the contract, that means the veto still stands. And
All right. Let's say I'll give you an example. Let's say you're rewiring back in time, you're 24. Yeah, and imagine you're playing for Man United. What position do you play?
what me
Yeah.
playing that number 10 Roman.
All right, let's say you're playing number 10 for United now. And